Okay, so I'm doing a recording here of how to do the enhance function of programming assignment 2 for those who'd like to use that process to support you in completing programming assignment 3. I will also be doing this in class on Monday, but this is for folks who want to see it so that they can get the assignment done before Sunday. So I'm using a version of the Square class, which you'll see a little bit later on in the semester, that has a few other methods that you haven't seen yet. One thing I want you to know, I did the very simplest way of perimeter, which is what I had you call the border method in assignment 2. It can be done in one line where you just do the calculation and return the value in the same line. For the area function, that won't be sufficient because in assignment 3, as you've already seen, we are testing area's value before we return it. So we do need to put into a variable. Some of you were creating a variable of the same name as a routine. There are some programming languages that demand that. Some actually automatically create that variable for you. In Java, you don't need to do that. You can call it whatever you want. Some of you are getting overly attached to that and thinking the return statement had to use a variable that was the same name as the method. No, it doesn't. You can call things whatever you want. So now I'm going to write the enlarge function. And the first line you type when you are adding any function or method to a class is called the definition statement. It defines that method to the compiler. There are always 4 parts to that definition statement. The first is called the scope, which for right now, all we're doing is using public. The second one is the return value. Now, in the instructions for the assignment, we said it doesn't have to return anything. If you're not returning a particular value, you use the keyword void. And that means you do not need a return statement. That will actually cause a compilation error in most versions of the JDK. If you specify something other than void as return type, like these two here, you need to have a return statement so that the computer knows what is the value or where is the value, in the case of a variable name, that we are returning to the person who's executing the function. So those are the first 2 parts of a method definition statement, is the scope, which is going to be public, and the return type. The next is the name of the routine, which I recall from the assignment was asked to be called enlarge. Then you always need parentheses to tell the compiler that what precedes the parentheses is a function. Now, in the case of this function, it's receiving a parameter, so any parameters are enclosed in those parentheses. The description of this assignment said that the enlarge function receives 1 integer parameter. Parameters are declared the same way you declare any other variable in Java, which is a data type first, followed by the variable name. So if we are declaring an integer parameter, its data type is in. You can name it whatever you want as long as it's not the name of a keyword. So I can call it, say, n. Close the parentheses. Now I'm starting the code for the method. And the code for methods are enclosed in braces. I'll automatically put the right brace there so I do not forget it. Now, what did the assignment describe? What did it say you were supposed to do? You were supposed to increase the value of the side attribute by the parameter. So you're increasing it. You are adding to its existing value, the value of n. So side is the name of the attribute defined in the class, which is the length of the side of the square. And you are adding to that the value of the parameter, which is determined by the computer by simply putting that variable name there, and it will look up the value in storage. So that's the formula to use. Now you have to put that somewhere from an assignment operator. Remember, the right hand of the equal sign in an assignment operator is what is the formula or calculation being used to determine what the value is. On the left-hand side is where it is going. Now, what is this function doing? It is increasing the value of the side attribute. It's actually changing its value. So who is receiving the new value of the side? Is the side attribute. The side attribute is the receiver of the new value. And that's all you need to do in enlarge in order to complete that function. And the other two are shown here. So this was what you needed to do for programming assignment 2.